So let's do the Army white paper. And I had read this thing all the way through. This is the actual paper. Look at this. What's missing?
You don't have the header. Hang on. There's no office symbol. There's no header. It's
There's
not
no
indented
portion
properly.
markings.
Like this is
Yep.
not a. If I looked at this, this is not an Army memo.
This is a draft from a second lieutenant.
Great.
No, I'm saying that's what this looks like. This is the actual white paper that came out of the Army looking like this, which for those of you looking at this out there, you're like, oh, well, what's the big deal? I don't understand. It means that standards are so low that they can't even bother to format official memos in some sort. And the Army formats everything in an official format.
Yep.
So this got out.
When I was working at my desk job, I had a whole folder on my desktop with about 150, 180 different memo formats.
Yes.
And there's a different format for everything, for ordering food and ammo and, dealing with injured soldiers. It's all different shit.
Yeah.
And
there was actually a whole app built just for that. It was like GPAM or something like that had all of the forms, and you get the form and hope it worked, and you filled in all the stuff. And
what is the actual meat and potatoes of this white sheet?
The actual meat and potatoes of this is first the new capabilities portion. The Army has already been recapitalizing major weapons platforms, many dating back to the Cold War with modernization portfolios. We know about that. But as part of its force structure formation, the Army will add 30 new or upgraded systems across critical modernization portfolios. What they're saying here is intel gathering, battlefield overwatch, and probably fire control for ARTI, what I would imagine. Everywhere from the theater to brigade level. I've talked about those levels before.
Well, I know
theater level a lot.
I know that they have those new shells you fire from the 155s that give them like just incredible range, that they're going to have to get upgraded stuff.
But one of those rounds is like $15,000.
I know, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah. So the structure here doesn't make any sense to me. Let's look at the structure real quick. These task forces are new theater level assets, a headquarters and headquarters battalion. Okay. Multi-domain effects battalion. I don't know what that is. A long-range fires battalion. Okay, we know what that is. That's Brigade ARTI. That's a bag. And indirect fire protection. That's ADF. And then a brigade support battalion. What the hell is that? That's a support brigade for an infantry division.
Correct.
Where's your infantry? Where's your armor? Where's your air assets?
Yeah. Listen, they're not recruiting enough bodies to fill that. They're literally doing word magician shit, telling you that, yeah, we're going to build this up while we're totally neglecting this, but we're not going to talk about the part we're neglecting. Listen, in every single war, you don't actually win until you control the ground. And that's always done with boots on the fucking ground. You can have helicopters, you can put planes up there, you can do whatever you want. But until you actually move boots onto the ground, you do not own that battle space.
Yeah, and a standard Army division is around 12,000 guys. That's a single division. They're not going to make these numbers. They're trying to put these battalions together. I've said this before. We're already looking at an old Star Trek episode from 1968 called A Taste of Armageddon, where two planets are at war, and the wars are controlled by computers, and the computers say, okay, this many people died, and the population goes to disintegration chambers to be disintegrated to simulate the dead.
Yeah,
remember that episode?
Yeah, I remember that episode.
That's what this is. That's what this is. It's all ADF. It's all long-range battery stuff. It's additional maneuver short-range ADF. It's SHORADs. And it's set up to fight drone wars here. Somebody's been playing Risk and watching Star Trek, dude. Yeah. There's so many Cheeto stains on this piece of paper. There's so many Cheeto stains on this piece of paper.
Yeah.
The planned reductions are to authorizations, not to individual soldiers, which is just a way of saying we're not hiring any more guys. So those of you who are out there, you're screwed because you've got no support. You've got no backup. We're not sure if Artie's going to be there because we can't get any planes in the air to get it over there. Or any number of other problems.
Well, you got to also mention in there, Steve. Now you're going to have to do 4 people's jobs instead of just your
job. That anyway. Regular Army, yeah, everybody did one job, but now you're going to have to do 4 people's jobs. He's exactly correct.
I mean, that's what my last 15 years in the service, I literally wore 6 hats and managed 3 different units at any given time.
Any soft unit is that. When I worked at Civil Affairs, it's everybody. That's not soft. When we moved those guys around, okay, we were a support element for soft. We were just a high level support element for soft, but we did all kinds of RSO and I moving the troops in and out of the countries, and you did that.
Yep.
I did that at the Army level, which was no fun. Then you had to do Diplo staff. Then we did the interrogations. Then we had to do briefings, and there was translation work. The list goes on and on. Yeah. Army level for CA is a pain in the ass. A lot of fun though. First, early each military occupational specialty. That's our MOSs, and examine each skill set. Blah blah blah. Counterinsurgency base. They seem to be wanting to get rid of the counterinsurgency elements. Engineer force structure assigns engineer assets to brigade combat teams. Okay, you should have engineers in brigade combat teams.
That's why it's called a brigade combat team.
Right.
They have engineers already.
So this is now they're retooling language and saying, I have an idea. You know those engineers in brigade? Let's put engineers in brigade. Won't that be a great idea?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got people at the top who've never been in the service and don't know what the fuck they're talking about in your diversity hires. Are we shocked? Are we shocked there? Because I'm not shocked.
And we won't bedraggle this one too much more, but I want to get this part in here. Additionally, the Army reduced 2,700 authorizations based on modeling that included factors as demand over time, capacity to meet national defense strategy requirements, and past deployment stress. Units that deploy infrequently or not at all pointed to areas where the Army can reduce manning authorizations, and within a formation at a minimal risk, the Army will decrease the number of transients, trainees, holdies, and students by approximately 6,300 authorizations as it resizes. What you just read there is exactly what Pop was talking about. You're going to have guys that are so exhausted and no idea what their assignment is because they're doing 50,000 different things. Correct. That's what that word spaghetti there is. And I want to point out that first sentence as well. They modeled it. Computer model. How does computer modeling work in the military?
It's usually not.
I mean, unless you're doing a war game.
It's usually not a good thing, and it's never accurate.
Never accurate.
No.
It's completely ridiculous. And I've seen theater high-level wonks, colonels, and such. Well, we'll just war game it on the system. It
never works. I have seen them war game stuff, and like, well, this is the right course of action, and then they execute, and it is such a fucking donkey dick. It's unbelievably fucked up.
War is full of that. Probably the best example of that is Market Garden.
Yes, what a clusterfuck.
Yep.
The British generals said, this is going to work. We're going to have no problem. And they went after Remagen.
Yep.
And got their asses smoked.
Correct. I love that movie, by the way.
It's a great movie. But I felt so bad for those guys because they knew they had a shit plan.
Yes.
They knew that they were screwed. And their generals made them do it anyway. That's what happens when you allow policy wonks to war game for real battles.
Correct.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.